Welcome back, guys. Today's episode is all about our road trip around Norway.
And my return.
Okay, we can do it like that if you want, but I was going to do it in that little bit. Hi guys, we are Nick, Sam and Lord Onyx, and this van right here is our home. We've been living and travelling on the open road since 2018, and what a journey it has been. Subscribe and turn on those notifications for van life adventures every week. Welcome back, guys. Today's episode is all about our road trip around Norway. How much it costs and the pros and cons from our point of view as van lifers.
We also asked you guys if you had any questions, so at the end we'll be covering those off.
And we should probably address the elephant in the room.
I've come back an elephant here.
I know we owe you some life updates and we are going to share them with you next week, but in all honesty, we have spent August basically apart, haven't we?
Pretty much.
We've just been focusing on
healing ourselves, figuring out kind of what we want to do and where everything's leading as well. So,
and we're still doing that. We're still figuring it out. But we thought we're actually at our friend's land today, and we thought we'd just film it together and see how it goes. See if we end up killing each other, basically. So. Trial run. Yeah, next week we will give you a proper life update, and I believe there are some big changes happening if our destiny goes to plan. We're
going to be starting with the pros and cons, so then you guys can understand whether the trip was actually worth it.
Yeah. And please remember, these are our opinions. Absolutely. Everyone wants different things out of life, so yeah, no judgments, please.
Before we get to the costs, guys, we want you to drop a comment in the section below. Give us a guess on what you thought we spent.
Yeah, and at the end we can see if you're right. I don't even think you've seen how much we've spent, so I want to know what you think we've spent now. I wrote all of this whilst we were away in August, away from each other.
Well, most of it came out of my bag.
No, it bloody didn't.
All in all, I'd say
23 days in Norway.
1,630.
1,630, okay. We'll see. So pros, it's always better to start with the pros and to sandwich that So it's quite a long list, to be honest, with the pros and the cons, so we're just going to spiel it off so we're not keeping you here forever. So number one, the landscapes were insane, weren't they?
Undeniably insane.
So there is no doubt that the country is beautiful. You were met with some of the most scenic drives, waterfalls at every corner. We got to experience our first glacier, first moose, and probably our biggest hike yet.
Wild camping, off-grid parking, whatever you want to call it, it's all legal and it's so awesome. Easy to do. Yeah. And water, it's everywhere and it's free,
Yeah, I say it's free. Of course it's free if you can find it on tap, but it's everywhere. You can find it everywhere.
We never paid for it.
And then there's the lakes and the rivers, which are also bloody fresh and nice to swim in. And the internet, it's everywhere. It's pretty great.
And of course, we have to do an honourable mention to the people.
They were all so lovely, which is strange because when we were talking to the locals, they were actually saying that Norwegians weren't friendly, but that wasn't the experience we had, was it?
We was even warned before going that some Norwegians had even crossed the road to avoid talking or making an interaction with each other, but we had total opposite, didn't we?
No, I think more people spoke to us in Norway than they ever have in England. So, we met two lovely women at the top of Preikestolen, didn't we? And we talked about Scotland, how they want to come to Scotland, which was nice. You had a guy waiting for you outside the van.
That was strange. I actually thought he had a problem getting into the van, but it just turned out
into his car, and that the van was in the way. But no, he was just excited. I think he saw our number plate. Yeah. We also bumped into two English dudes out there who'd been living out there for quite a while, and they were super friendly and gave us loads of tips and tricks. One of them was actually the one who said to go dumpster diving. So yeah, thank you. Big shout out to you. And then of course Sarah at the end when we were just outside Oslo.
That was an interesting experience, but very, very welcoming.
She was an energy therapist, so we got energy readings off her. It was a really beautiful experience. That was I mean, she called me a feminine dragon, so I'm gonna love her forever.
Well, she called me a puppy stuck in a bag, so
we need to work on these things. Anyway, lastly, the smell of the air. What did you think? Oh wow, yeah,
to be fair, it sounds strange, but even doing yoga, I
breathe.
I was less out of breath doing moves and doing workouts just because of the air.
It's just so fresh. Like when we went on our first Euro trip and came back to the UK, we were parked not far outside London, I think it was. So obviously it's city based, and it just smelt polluted. Like you could really smell it. So the one thing we do love about going to like mainland and the continent and the space is how clean the air feels out there versus England.
Yeah, I guess.
So yeah, we did love Norway for their landscapes and
Thank you for the air.
Thank you. So, moving on to cons. Please don't take any of these offensively. These are just our opinions from our point of view when we were there at that current time. So it will be different for everyone. We're just sharing our side. So, absolutely. And to be honest, some of these might not even be relevant to you because of that. But yeah, these are our cons on Norway.
Be prepared.
Yeah.
If you watched any of our videos on our road trip around Norway, you will probably hear us moaning about the expense of food.
We weren't moaning. We were raising awareness.
Yeah, fine. We were raising awareness, but we knew before going how expensive it was.
Yeah.
When you're there, I think it's still a bit of a shock.
It's something
how
else,
expensive things really tot up to. And at the point we were at, it didn't quite feel like a return on our investment as well.
Yeah, because we had a lot of rain, so we weren't getting out. So we were basically just spending to sit inside the van. So we may as well have just sat inside the van in a cheap country, if you get what I mean. Not that we're complaining or anything, but we were given tips on like
how to say
shopping budget ranges. But in all honesty, even the budget range in Norway
still
was
expensive.
3 to 10 times the amount it would be in the UK.
Yep.
So it was still really expensive. And then there was some apps and stuff.
Like Too Good To Go, which we have over here.
The Spa app, because it shares what discount days they have and things. But in all honesty, the amount of apps we were suggested, it totted up to like 10 that we didn't want to just base our food shops around these apps.
You have to do like an hour admin every day just to figure out where to get food and drive to the location.
And you know what? We weren't actually looking to live on a budget lifestyle, let's be honest. We were happy to spend whatever it cost to eat and regular food.
Next, recycling.
Yeah.
It was very, very difficult.
Yeah.
I think all in all we found maybe 2 locations which had bins allotted for doing your recycling in.
Yeah, in 23 days. So there was some set of bins we found on the street actually, and you went to use them, but you actually needed a fob to get into the bins even though they were just on the street. So maybe they were for like the flats nearby. But yeah, we really did struggle to find recycling bins. So we weren't really like the best all the time, were we? We tried to be, but
we saved it up as much as possible, but then obviously it's just overflowing.
It's a small
everywhere.
space, so yeah, don't judge us. So this one's probably a little bit controversial, but I felt like Norway was quite a controlled place. There are lots of reasons why, but I'll focus on just a couple because otherwise it just gets maybe too personal. But the first one being that even though I'm not a big drinker, I didn't like that there were rules on when you could buy alcohol.
It's too expensive, anyway.
And what days. So you couldn't buy in the evenings and you couldn't buy on Sundays.
Yeah.
And all they did is just close a curtain. So again, I live in a van, so it might be clear to you that I'm not like the keenest person on control. So it didn't really sit with me, did it? So,
No.
And the next on the control is the dog leash situation. God, my words are slurring then. Dog leash. I appreciate that you do have to have dogs on lead in certain areas, but in the UK, our rules are definitely not as strict as Norway.
Relies more on common sense, I guess, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. So in Norway, you can't have your dog off lead from the 1st of April up until the 31st of October. Anywhere except for dog designated places, and obviously we're in the van, so we're not really going to focus our travels around going to dog fields where Onyx can go off lead. And I love him off lead. We love our dogs off lead, don't we? We love them being able to explore and smell everything and
be wild.
Not
just be attached to you, constantly tugging you around. It's nice for them to go off and explore and be a dog. So
yeah, these are just 2 of maybe the many things that we stumbled into that felt like it just wasn't my cup of tea.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm not saying I wouldn't go back. I just need to probably go back knowing these things and then it would be fine. Yeah, not with Onyx.
Moving on from Nick's rant, laundromats.
Actually was, wasn't it?
We didn't see any laundromats outside like you get over here. No. You get the Revolution laundries. We didn't see anything, so we think the only place you could potentially get it is on a campsite. Yeah,
because we didn't even see the launderette shops, and we did ask the 2 brick guys that we got speaking to, said there wasn't any, because one of them was actually living in a van too, so yeah, no
makes it a little bit
laundromats.
Difficult.
Yeah. So actually, we did end up using our scrubber bag, didn't we, for some mini washes in between. So that was really good. I'm going to do a plug. If you want to get yourself a scrubber bag, you can use our link and the discount code on screen below.
Especially if you're going to Norway, you're going to need it.
Yeah.
Lastly, of course, the weather.
Yeah, the weather.
Wow, what weather we had. We did some Googling beforehand, and obviously we chose to go in June, July and August because they were supposed to be the driest months for us to go.
Isn't it? Yeah.
Oh, of course, but we had consecutive days of rain. It wasn't just small breaks as well where you could still go out and enjoy it. It was just
the
non-stop.
most miserable June.
Yeah, absolutely. It was horrible.
And again, we were speaking to locals and they were like, it's never this wet. It's never this wet.
So it's like a late spring, isn't it?
Yeah, so it was pot luck really for us, wasn't it? And we didn't hit the jackpot that time.
Yeah.
So it didn't make the experience that great.
Especially, obviously, being in a van and everything getting wet. And like I said, it was just bad luck, and the locals said it wasn't normal for it to be this wet either.
And I know some of you will say it's about having the right clothes. We do have the right clothes. We just don't like rain 100% of the time, and we totted up 17 days we did rain. And we'd probably get like a 30-minute break, which I am very grateful for because we'd get to nip out and take Onyx on a walk and then come back. But yeah, it was getting a bit too much for us for 17 days of rain, so that's why we ended up U-turning, because there was just no return on investment, was there?
Absolutely. And it had already forecast another 2 weeks of rain ahead of that as well, so no thank you.
Yep, so moving on to costs.
We were there from the 3rd of June to the 26th, which is a total of 23 days. Our route started in Kristiansand. We headed over to Geiranger, then to Lillehammer, and then finally to the Oslo area.
So the costs we are going to share with you today are just our Norway trip.
Yep.
So note that we did get fuel in Denmark just before we crossed over, but we're going to just start from when we got the Fjord Line ferry until we exited to Sweden, yeah? So the Fjord Line ferry cost a total of £203.40, including one dog, and the food on board totaled to £13.74, and that was for one burger between the two of us.
It was actually quite nice as well, to be fair.
Was really nice.
Very expensive.
But yeah, very expensive. So next, fuel. The fuel in total cost us £380.
And the tolls cost £45.
So to use the tolls, we did sort out an auto pass through Flight Pass. We will add the link in the description below if you guys need to sort one out for yourselves. And that gave us 20% off most of the toll roads, didn't it?
Yep.
We don't know exactly how much each road costs, but the roads were on average around £2. The ferries were around £6, and one of the bridges cost us £8. So the auto pass for us was £17.20. I have no idea if different sites are different costs. And also, once you go to pay your first bill on your tolls, they deduct the £17.20 off, so technically the pass is free. Yeah, and then you can send it back at the end. You send it back at the end?
We've just...
Are we going to send it back at them?
No,
we don't really have time for that.
No point, really.
We have other things to focus on right now than sending a pass back to Norway.
Food cost us £242. We didn't pay for any camping, and as we covered earlier, we didn't do any laundry.
And for parking, we spent £21.94, and that was on one car park at Preikestolen, wasn't it? And then we were like, we're never paying for parking ever again.
It is very expensive, but it is worth it as well.
Yeah,
and
that
unless
hike
you like
was incredible.
Doing a hike before a hike, it's pretty much the only car park, really.
Yeah. And filling up our gas, which is LPG, cost us £6.82.
But I think it actually gave us loads for free. I don't know what happened with the machine. It just spurted loads out.
It's like compensation, isn't it? You spend loads on parking, we'll give you some free LPG. Water was free as well. And then when it comes to eating out, we ate out once at Geiranger when we decided we were going to leave Norway, so we thought we'd treat ourselves.
It's got to be now or never.
Yeah, and we treated ourselves to a £27 dinner, which was one pizza between the two of us and a can of Coke each, side of chips as well. So yeah, it is very extortionate there. And then lastly, which I'm sure you guys won't have to pay for, especially if you're watching this, the tapeworm treatment for Onyx cost us £600. So we won't include that in the total, but we're just putting it there to emphasise how expensive Norway is.
He did also get a night in a nice hotel
next to a pig.
Yeah.
And another pug. Which is quite cute.
That's exactly where I'd want to be.
Pugs are basically pigs, aren't they? The noises they make anyway. So, total! So you're not actually far off the guess.
Yeah, I guess.
Which is good. But your guess actually is including Onyx's tapeworm treatment. So that was a really good guess. The actual cost without Onyx's tapeworm treatment is £957.72p.
No way.
So we're gonna just say £1,000, yeah? £1,000 we spent there. 1,600 if you include Onyx.
Wow.
I'm not sure how I feel about that.
I didn't feel like we actually we didn't pay for any crazy attractions or experiences. We just lived, really.
Yeah, so guys, as I do with my maths head, I've split that into days and how much that was, and that's about £42 a day, which we were saying we were spending £50 a day. So we're at least, you know, £8 under what we thought when we were there, which is good. But in all honesty,
It's a lot.
it is a lot. We just thought we'd get a lot more out of it, didn't we?
Of
Yeah.
course.
We thought we wanted to go on like kayaking trips and all of this as well, but we couldn't because it was just constantly raining.
I think
Do we keep
attribute
telling
all
you
of this
that?
to the
It's
rain,
the rain.
yeah.
It's all of the rain. It's the rain's fault, and that is it. It's not ours. End of. Yeah. No, so actually, I don't think it would be that bad going for an entire month, you know, driving around for a month as well, if you were getting to go outside.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, like properly,
Yeah.
go outside.
Truly experience Norway.
So yeah, you'll have to let us know in the comments below if you got your guess right as well,
Yeah.
because you were pretty spot on. Well done.
I mean, I was kind of
High
there
five.
as well.
So for us, we feel like the trip was just not right for us. Like wrong place, right time.
Definitely
Wrong
not.
place, wrong time situation.
So for us, it basically came down to the fact that we were spending so much money and just sitting in the van.
Yeah. It was, wasn't it? Like, we'll stop being negative now, though.
It's like the last time we're
Norway's
gonna
behind
mention
us.
this.
Yeah, Norway's behind us. But we'll quickly answer some of your questions before we end this vlog. So you guys asked us, where was our most favourite place to visit?
Yeah, okay. Mine was definitely Geiranger, where the glacier
Really?
was.
Oh, okay. But that's not in Geiranger.
Is it not?
No. But
Where's
Geiranger or the glacier?
Glacier.
Glacier. Mine was the glacier as well.
Yeah,
just because we'd
definitely.
never seen anything
It
like
was-
that before.
Where else are we going to see this unless we go into the Antarctic or something?
Yeah.
But Norway, apparently.
And I think my favourite moment though, which is a very small moment, was when we realised it was like still broad daylight through
Yeah.
the early morning, like the sun just didn't
terrifying.
set. And we didn't even go that far up north, so yeah, it was not terrifying. It was magical. It was beautiful.
It was like,
I
what
loved
the
it.
hell, man? Somebody's left the lights on. I think my most magical moment would be when we got Onyx back. You remember that?
You make me feel like a bad parent now.
I'm only
Oh,
joking.
That was the most magical part. So your next question. Were the locals friendly? We kind of answered that, didn't we?
Yeah, definitely.
So yes, we'd say they were. And next was favourite food. What was your favourite Norwegian food? I don't
that
think...
Italian pizza that we got.
Mine obviously was the
Don't say
brown cheese.
Oh,
Well,
no.
I'm going to say it was my favourite purely down to the fact I think it was the only Norwegian food
Yeah.
we ate.
Definitely.
Right?
But if any of you have ever had Karamak, it tastes like that.
Yeah. I mean, I thought it was good and I put it on jacket potato, but on TikTok all the Norwegians were telling me I was eating it wrong, but hey ho, I still enjoyed it. So yeah, that was my
So that
favourite
matters.
Norwegian food. So Sam actually hasn't like read any of the questions. I just asked him today if he wants to sit and do this YouTube with me and he said yeah, and I was like, god damn, no, I'm joking. So
What?
expectations versus reality. What were
Yeah.
your thoughts? Did you expect Norway to be like that? You know, or was it different?
The thing with me, I think, is I don't really ever have like high expectations of
And-
anywhere, so I'm never really let down. But in terms of what you see on social media, Instagram, online, I think so. Yeah, definitely. Norway
I
is
feel like
absolutely breathtaking.
You don't spend that much time on social media
Yeah.
versus me, so I think my expectations were high
like Wales,
and
the
they were
fjords.
met. They were met when it comes to the landscapes, but it was
Easy.
clear that all these photos or videos were taken
Oh,
on the
no.
one day of the year where it wasn't raining.
No more rain.
I'm sorry. Okay, next question. Regrets. Do you have any regrets of the Norway trip? Like things we maybe didn't get to do?
Spot a wild moose. Better.
No,
we
we
saw
saw
a
one.
wild
A
moose,
baby
like crossing
one.
a road, but I would have liked to have seen like a giant adult moose in the wild.
Yeah, we would have loved to have
That'd have
seen
been
like
awesome.
a pack of moose, a herd of moose migrating the Norwegian plains into the lakes, into the fjord. That would have been beautiful.
Or just doing anything really. Like,
Yeah,
to
we
see
regret
it.
not doing anything. No, we did quite a bit still though. We did. My biggest regret, I'm not really sure it's a regret. I wish we did make it all the way up to Nordkapp, but I don't regret not going. It just means that there's land
Something
left
for another
unexplored
time,
for us to do another time, and we love exploring, so we'll get there one day, won't we?
I think it'd probably be best explored in the
In
winter
August,
as well.
or proper winter.
In the winter when it's
winter.
like you can
Going
see the
around on
aurora borealis.
snowmobiles, yeah.
No, right. Gets
Okay, we're daydreaming
snow
now.
dogs.
Let's wrap this up. So yeah, that is our thoughts on Norway, our pros and cons, how much it cost us.
Yeah.
Obviously, everyone is different, as I keep saying.
Completely
so
subjective, and everybody else's situations and how they live and their money. Is
if you like
completely
control,
different.
you'll love it there.
Yeah, it's really not that bad.
I'm joking. If you love
Just
rain,
buy
you'll
beer
love
the
it there.
day before.
Yeah, and if you've got lots of money, you'll love it there too.
Yeah, absolutely.
So.
Have a big bank or take some loans with you. Yeah.
Oh yeah, rob a
Don't
few
actually
people
do
on
that.
the way and you'll be fine. No, seriously guys, if you've enjoyed this vlog, you know what to do. Give us a thumbs up, subscribe and turn on those notifications, and we'll catch you next week, I think, for a bit of a life update, yeah?
I think it's overdue.
Hopefully some big changes, but we've just been kind of waiting. We won't spill too much.
Seeing how it goes.
We're not good YouTubers if we spill too much. So yeah, guys, catch you next week. Ciao!